Oh, this thing's
That's
on.
very good.
It's live.
Yeah, it's live.
Very good. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Chairman of the Committee of Ways and Means, Kevin Brady, and individuals and business owners from across the country. We are celebrating today as the last day under the old system, and so it's going to look very different moving forward. We want to put the faces of tax reform on it today, and that's why we'd love to hear your stories. Nothing's more powerful than the stories that we've heard, that we hear all across the country. I think about the manager of Starbucks in downtown Spokane, that after Starbucks made their announcement of, increased salaries and benefits, he was just bouncing off the walls. He and his wife had just had a child, a baby 4 months ago, and just that hope, that optimism, a belief that there was a better future. And it's a great memory. Primera in Washington State invested $50 million in the community, in community investments, $1 million in the Hope House in Spokane, which is a women's shelter. And it means that the shelter that is full every night is going to be able to expand. That's money that's going to go a lot further than if it would have stayed here in Washington, D.C. And we want to hear more of those stories today. We're really grateful that you would take the time to join us. And we're going to turn over the Speaker first, and then the Chairman first?
No,
Okay, then the Chairman, and then we'll open it up.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for coming. Look, small business is the backbone of our country. It is where almost all of the jobs come from. Right. And what we were setting out to do, and the two of us had the same job. I had that job before he did. We've been working on tax reform for a generation. And what we had learned is our tax code was weighing down our economy. It was holding us back from reaching our potential. And we wanted to have a tax code that was built not to harass people, to hold them back, but for growing this economy. And our tax code was doing anything but. And it was arguably one of the worst tax codes in the industrialized world with respect to job creation, capital investment. So we wanted to clear the brush. We wanted to make it easier for businesses to invest in their businesses, to hire more people, and to be competitive, not just in a local economy, but in a global economy. And so that's why we've spent so much time on this, and we're very excited with what we've already seen. We're very excited about the millions of workers who've gotten bonuses, with the hundreds of billions of dollars of capital expenditures investing in businesses and plant and equipment, which creates more jobs, makes people more productive, and ultimately leads to higher wages and better standards of living. We're also excited about the fact that we got to clear out a lot of the loopholes and the hassle from the tax code, so we can have a better tax system that's easier to comply with. But really what we want to do is hear from you about how this affects your business, how this affects what you do, because our ultimate goal here is to get this economy hitting its potential, get workers getting better wages, and having more opportunities for people who for about a decade had a pretty rough economy. We had slow growth economy that we've had since the Great Recession, means living standards dropped and were flat. And we want to turn that around, and we think tax reform is really the critical component to that. So we're very happy with what we've done, but we want to hear from you about how it's making a difference and how it works with you. But with that, let me turn it over to the architect of this plan, the person who shepherded it through Congress, and that's our Chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, Kevin Brady from Texas.
Speaker, thank you. But the Speaker and I sat next to each other for 16 years on the Ways and Means Committee, dreaming and working for this day. No one worked more in more years than Paul Ryan to make this reality. So I'm really grateful to the Speaker, and I'm grateful to Cathy for your leadership of the House to drive this. And, there are plenty of things you and I might do differently, but we got the fundamentals right for America. I feel like America's back, especially on Main Street. Optimism among our Main Street businesses is at about a 20-year high. I know in our district, people are adding workers. They're buying new equipment. The leases are longer. The trucks they're renting is for a longer period of time and more often. And so we're seeing these jobs, and it's small businesses, it's medium-sized businesses. And then because we redesigned the code so that our local companies could compete and win anywhere in the world, including here at home, we're seeing jobs coming back which support our small businesses as well. I'll finish with this. We decided early on small businesses would not be left behind. Most tax reform plans there was something for corporations and something for families, good things, but for those Main Street businesses, not much. We were determined that wouldn't be the case. And so creating this new small business deduction at 20% discount on top of lower tax rates, and making sure you could write off the year you buy all that new equipment, those new trucks, that new construction equipment, is incredibly pro-growth, and that's why we're just so excited you all are here to be able to share your stories. So thank you for what you do.
All right. Well, Deborah, you want to start us out?
Sure. So I'm Deborah Sawyer with Sport Clips. I'm a franchisee. I have 20 open locations, and I have my 21st location that'll open sometime this summer. Earlier this year, I already bought out one of my friends in Florida. She wanted to relocate to the Carolinas to be closer to her kids. So I'm very grateful that the new tax law allows us that clear opportunity to write off not only newly acquired assets that are brand new purchase, but also ones that are used when you're buying an existing business out from someone else. I have that other store that's under construction, and then after the bill was passed and I was kind of looking at my tax situation, another opportunity came to me to go for my 22nd location. I went ahead and took that because I was comfortable with the tax write-offs that I could do. That lease is with my attorney right now for review, and I'm hoping to get that location open as well, which will let me promote one of my assistant managers to manager, and it will also let me hire at least 10 more employees. In addition, I did what was right, and I made a modification to my pay plan that my managers were being limited if they were unable to give me 35 to 40 hours a week. I'm in a position of a field where you're on your feet and your arms are up all day long. They cannot do these long 10, 12-hour days. So I have several managers that were unable due to their commitments to their children, balancing daycare costs of that, as well as some physical issues that they weren't able to do more than 32 to 34 hours a week. And the way my bonus plan was structured on their hourly bonus, they weren't hitting the platinum bonus just because they weren't able to give me closer to 40 hours a week. I made that change. They got a $7 an hour raise if they were able to hit their high metrics and earn the platinum bonus.
Wow. Wow. That's fantastic. My boys love Sport Clips.
Thank you.
There's one in Janesville, Wisconsin, right next door to Jimmy John's. Yeah. Know it well. The hot towel and everything, yeah.
That's great to hear. Thank
It's a
you.
great place.
Yeah.
Awesome. John Biagas, Bay Electric Company based out of Newport News, VA. Since the tax cut, well, let me back up. For the last 10 years, we've been stuck in neutral. It's very obvious. I serve on the chamber as the chairman of the middle market business. And I can tell you, since the tax cuts, the RSM survey is the highest it's ever been in the history of middle market businesses. And
Are you a contractor or a manufacturer?
contractor.
Contractor, okay.
Electrical and general contractor, so we do large scale projects, solar and all this other stuff as well. But since the tax cuts, we've hired 10 electricians. We've got a class of 21 apprentices.
Wow.
And we have to train more because it's getting so busy, we can't find enough workers. So we're gonna have to hire from within. We certainly have given raises also to both the Davis-Bacon workers and the non-Davis-Bacon workers. Also there's a sense of just optimism with the workers. They're seeing more money on their check. They're excited about that. Even some of the younger kids are putting more money in their 401k accounts. Now, who would have thought that? These kids normally spend money like water. So things are going extremely well. And I can say thank you guys for just having the guts, tenacity to make the tax cuts happen, because it's helping ordinary businesses and people. Glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great to hear.
I'm Melissa Bercier. I'm from Chicago, and I own Couch Clarity, which is a private psychotherapy practice. We're very small right now. We have 2 locations and just 10 employees. But what's so important for us is where I have the opportunity to reinvest into my company and into team building and professional development for my staff. And what happens with that is, we help people in our communities that we're in, and those people then in the communities can then work at their jobs better or do, better in school or have better marriages. And so it's a domino effect for us. So it's really important for me to have staff, mental health staff that are happy and healthy themselves, and so be able to provide that for them with developing and enriching their their interactions with each other really helps for us. And so one of my main themes is helping the helper. So I developed my business and made it a model so that the staff that I train can also open up their own location somewhere else, hopefully. So it's a very structured practice, and it's something that isn't typical for a private practitioner, where we are able to supply marketing and billing and all the networking and whatnot for the staff. So a happy staff means happy community.
That's great. That's great to hear.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. So my name is Dave Manning. I'm the chairman of the American Trucking Associations, but also president of TCW, a trucking, intermodal trucking and logistics provider in Nashville, Tennessee. And, you know, I think everybody knows that trucking is the engine that moves America's economy, and it is booming right now thanks to this tax reform and tax cuts. For our company, because we are primarily a company-owned, run company trucks, the depreciation was huge. So the fact that we were able to depreciate that equipment, we had $1.2 million reduction in our tax bill for 2017. We took that 1.2 and invested it in wages for our drivers, about $3,000 per driver per year that they got as a result of that. We also put another $500,000 into our health insurance plan, so we took on more of the cost of health insurance. And we had the confidence to be able to do that because of these changes that are taking place and because of the economy. The trucking is booming right now. We have a lot of demand. We also invested $20 million in additional equipment, so trucks and trailers and chassis.
Do you buy Stoughton trailers? Stoughton, Wisconsin made trailers. I'm just kidding. It's a little
No
plug.
need to answer that.
I'm afraid to answer that question.
That was a
I'm familiar
It
with
was a setup. It was a setup.
I'm familiar with
There you are? Okay, at least you know what they are.
That's right.
That's good. Yeah.
They make a good trailer. They make a,
You
good, they
hesitated
make, they
there.
make a great trailer. But the really good news is that, so for the first quarter of this year, our turnover rate has been the lowest it's been in 30 years. And I'm convinced that it's because of the change in benefits and the increase in wages that we have. And, you know, trucking companies typically run 70, 80% turnover. We were always, for the last few years, in the 40 to 45%, but we're below 20% turnover right now. And typically, 10 years ago, 20 to 25% would have been a good target for us. So some of the best turnover that we've seen, more than half below what it was just a year ago, which means that we've been able to net an additional 15 drivers because of the lower turnover. And it's at a time when we need them.
That means you can get more business.
A lot of freight to be hauled, and we're able to keep the drivers to be able to do that. So, you know, it is proven to be extremely successful for us. A lot of confidence. We had a driver that was actually up here last week that said that, you know, this is about $2,300 a year tax savings, and but forget the $3,000 raise that he got, $2,300 tax savings in his pocket. And what he plans to do with that is to save that and take his family on a vacation that he wouldn't have been able to do otherwise without that. So just a lot of optimism. I think the fact that we see that turnover rate that low bodes well for our future and what that enables us to be able to do. And the depreciation is just huge. We buy a lot of equipment. Being able to depreciate that in 1 year offsets that tax that we would typically, and it allows us to continue doing. And I think that's true for trucking companies throughout the country, not just at TCW. So thank you so much for this. It's been great for us, and I think that you accomplished all the things that you set out to do with that, and thank you.
Great.
Great to hear.
Nice to hear. Yeah.
First of all, I just want to say thank you very much, Speaker Ryan, Representative Brady, Representative
Rodgers is good.
Rodgers, yeah, it's a mouthful. So, yeah. Short. I really,
the Irish side.
it touched me to have you, Speaker Ryan, recognize the difficulty that small businesses have faced over the last decade. We have really been through it. And for small businesses, it gets, you know, I get somewhat emotional because it's very personal. It's, you know, about families and our employees, their families, their kids. And when you're struggling that much for that long, you know, it takes a toll. And you really feel like, especially from the small business community, like no one's listening. No one really cares. You don't have a voice. So I appreciate you hosting us, giving us that opportunity to come down here and have a voice. I appreciate the International Franchise Association for hosting myself and a number of us to make it.
Describe your business a little bit, if you could.
So Turbo Hall is a business I started with my business partner almost 23 years ago. And we started it fresh out of college, University of Maryland, go Terps. And didn't have any money, so we rented U-Haul trucks. And we haul commercial bulk trash.
Oh, okay.
The strange and unusual and big and heavy stuff that doesn't fit in a normal garbage can, primarily for commercial residential property management firms. Mm-hmm. We started doing that, like I said, almost 23 years ago in a U-Haul truck. Got our first truck 6 months after that. Today, we employ over 40 people full-time with our corporate location in Maryland and a office in Raleigh, North Carolina. So it's, like I said, was a struggle from about 2008 through, I'd say, 2015 even. And then we started, stabilizing finally and coming back. We've desperately needed to invest in equipment for years now. I have an aging fleet and have just been very hesitant to pull the trigger on that investment because of the economic climate and the regulatory climate that we were in, tax climate that we were in. So it was a real shot in the arm to us to get this tax bill passed. And I'm happy to report that over the next 18 months, we'll be investing over $2 million in new trucks and equipment for our locations.
Think about stone trailers if you ever did.
Yeah, I will. I'm not sure they make our trucks.
Yeah, I don't know if they do either, but yeah.
But,
Are you getting a?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for that, yeah. Just a Wisconsin company.
But what's even better for me, really, than trucks, because I'm in the trucking business, but I'm really not a truck guy, to be honest, is the effect it has on our people. Yeah. Most of our people, it's the first job that they get. A lot of guys and gals that come to work for us, they're right out of high school. It's all they got is a high school diploma, maybe. We take them, we train them, we give them opportunities in a real professional environment in a company, and they're able to make a real wage and provide for their families. A lot of them from disadvantaged backgrounds and communities. And so these new trucks, they not only will look great and haul things great, but they'll be able to be more efficient in their jobs. And we incentivize everybody from the starting labor on up through the driver. And there's different tiers of incentivizing. I won't get into that, but we've estimated that they have the potential now with these new trucks and equipment to add about $5,000 to their salaries, to their wages for this year, based on just averages of what they will likely make with these new trucks and equipment that will make them more efficient, more safe, more comfortable, in their jobs. And we've also, spread things around Christmas time and everything, giving everybody $300 bonuses to everyone, great health insurance for them. So we're real pleased, and it's great to see smiles on their faces. They're real motivated. Good. Pumped up every day to go out there and haul bulk trash, which is hard to get motivated to do.
So I guess I represent the employee that all these guys are working for, so that's pretty cool. I'm manager and a massage therapist at Massage NB. My employers own 7 franchises of Massage NBs. So for me, I guess what they've done is what's affected me most. They've really reinvested into the company. We got a total overhaul, remodel of everything, top to bottom, front to back. And that's been great for business. They have given every single person in our clinic an increase in compensation and just have changed the quality of our lives greatly. I mean, in the last 3 years, I've doubled my salary with what they've been able to do. And so personally, for me, how that translates into my life is that, both of my kids have their own cars that they can drive, and I don't have to share a car with them. I'm able to finish an internship that I've been doing in mental health counseling.
Excellent.
So I had finished my academic requirements a year ago and just couldn't take off work to finish the internship. So I'm in it, and I'll be done in October, and I'm not losing any money. I'm not losing any time with my children or anything like that. So it's been pretty awesome for me. You know?
That's great.
I appreciate it a lot. I know my employers do as well.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Gary Desley. I'm in a company called Excavators of Virginia. We're located right next to the Manassas battlefield, Northern Virginia. First of all, thank you, Speaker, Mr. Brady, Mrs. Rodgers. I really appreciate the work you've done. We're a bunch of political junkies. My son runs political campaigns. I've been delegate here and there in the state. And I know full well how tough it is and difficult in this environment for you to get through this whole piece of legislation. Our company started in 2005. It was a dream of my son, Josh. He's one of my partners. My wife's my other partner. And gee whiz, talking about how tough it is. We started out building decks, all these developments in Northern Virginia, when the housing bubble burst. They quit paying, and next thing I'm knowing, there goes my 401k, there goes the third, fourth mortgage on the house. Everything went into the company to keep it afloat. We survived that. We got back on our feet, and then along comes the financial crisis, and I had, gee whiz, well over $1 million in contracts canceled throughout Northern Virginia, and once again, we're back on the ropes. But through that, we've gotten better. However, then came Obamacare, and that was tough. So in order to survive and to retain our people, what we did was we jacked up everybody's compensation level, put them on a nice, generous bonus program, and we implemented a cloud management solution which drove down our costs about 9–10%, and the owners took less profit. What has happened was that the business itself then ended up getting all kinds of referrals, and basically doubled in size in the last few years. However, now, starting with the ascendancy of Trump to the presidency and the reduced regulations and the optimism, business has grown considerably in the last year. And now, with this tax cut, gee whiz, just the other day, we went out and gave a minimum of 7% pay raises to our employees. Some got higher. We changed their bonus structure. We're starting a IRA for all the employees. We went out and purchased a bunch of trucks. Right now we have 23 employees. We're bringing on upwards of 12. Not only that, but we have, gee whiz, 5 subcontracting crews, construction crews. We also have 4 in-house. Every subcontractor, as well as plumbers and electricians that we earn, all have their own business, and they're all happy. The more work I can give them, the happier they are, the more I can pay them. However, their tax bite has gone down. So yes, this is a big plus. It's helped us grow our business. And not only that, I have another business called XLS Energy, which takes flaring gas off oil wells, cleans it up, turns out electricity, and pumps it into the grid. Well, we just got a first round of investment yesterday. Investors in this area are starting to open up. And before I leave, I need your business card. Thank you very much.
Happy to provide the services.
That's right, that's right. Yeah. What a great meeting.
That's good.
Well, this always happens to me.
Note.
I want to just say thank you very much. This is why we did this. This is why we've been working on this for so many years. We knew if we could turn this tax code around, make it built for growth, and let people keep more of their hard-earned dollar, and encourage businesses to invest in their own businesses and their people and their workers and their equipment, that they would, and the economy would benefit and people would benefit from it. So this testimony, this example that you're showing us, it just tells us that what we have done is exactly what we were hoping to see happen. So thank you for vindicating all of that work. Kevin, do you have any?
No, unlike you, I'm just excited to hear these stories. Economists, everyone was telling us, you just need to settle for less growth. You need to settle in America for fewer jobs. We'll never be what we were. And we just didn't believe that because we knew small business leaders like you were eager to grow. And so it really is encouraging to see. I feel like America's back in the economy, and you're the ones driving it.
That's great. Yes, I too just thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing your stories. It really is inspiring to hear the impact of the legislation on you're expanding your businesses, you're hiring more people, you're investing in your employees. The optimism, it's what we had hoped and dreamed, and we just want to keep it going. So thanks for being
Amen.
here and putting the face of tax reform forward today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I went to UW Mass. Oh, you did? So like when you're talking about